Today's the 25th of April, 2023. So, Don Lemon and Tucker Carlson got shit canned. I saw that coming with Don Lemon. It was only a matter of time. He had crappy ratings. On the other hand, Tucker Carlson on Fox News and Fox's streaming service was their number one rated show. Their number one TV personality, so to speak. Completely unexpectedly fired by Rupert Murdoch and his kids. They took a huge hit with their stock falling. They lost well over $1 billion with their stock falling when they fired him. So why would they fire Tucker Carlson? Well, I'm going to tell you why. You probably, maybe you'll hear somebody talk about this now, but let me tell you why. Over the last, I'd say 6 months, Tucker Carlson has probably rattled some cages. And what do I mean by that? Well, he totally destroyed the January 6th narrative with his little expose on QAnon shaman. And do you remember how Chuck Schumer lost his shit over that? AOC was complaining about him. All the liberals were screaming, which I don't think that would bother Fox much. But here's part of the issue. Tucker Carlson couldn't get anybody to advertise in his segment of television because all the people that wanted to advertise on there were too scared to advertise because of the leftist mob. And that's the truth. But he was the highest rated show that Fox had. He was also the one they built their streaming platform on. They needed him. Why would you shit can him? Makes no sense. Even though you couldn't generate revenue from his particular show, he brought in viewership. If you look at the ratings of Fox, how their viewership would go very high every time he was on every night. So they have a very loyal fan base. Fox News does, right? So why would you get rid of him? Well, if you think about it, he has done some interesting things in the last 6 months, and I'll just name two of them. Number one, he covered the military disclosure of the existence of UFOs. Okay, so he kind of really threw that out there, and they say that the average Fox viewer is 68 years old, which is pretty sad when you think about it. But these are people that would have laughed at you and made fun of you for saying anything about UFOs. But Tucker Carlson brought it to the forefront, and he is trusted by a lot of people because people don't see him as a propagandist or a liar, right? So the other thing is, when they declassified some of the JFK murder documents, he did a little segment on that and brought that to the forefront to a lot of people in an age group who think that they should trust their government, right? So those are just three things. Those are three things that he has brought a lot of attention to with an audience of 4 to 5 million every night. So, because my mind works in conspiracies, because I know that conspiracies are real, and there is a one world, there is a handful of people trying to control the narrative of the world and trying to bring the world into a one world government. That's always been the case, but they're closer now than they ever have been. And you've got to get rid of the people who are exposing them, bringing darkness into light. Let's put it that way. You're not going to get any of this from the AOCs and the Chuck Schumers and the other schmucks and the other propagandists in our nation. You're not going to get it from a Disney-owned company, which ABC is. You're not going to get it from CBS. All of them are propaganda networks. I mean, it's not hard to see it. You know what? Stop watching television for about a year and then go back to watching it. And you tell me if you can't see the nonsense and the bullshit parting from these people's lips. So I wasn't a regular viewer of Tucker Carlson because I don't watch TV. I haven't watched TV for about 10 years now. But I do listen to a lot of stuff on YouTube. I use YouTube like a radio. I'm driving all day. And I got my people that I listen to, and clips I listen to, and podcasts I listen to, and I don't listen to music. I listen to things to try to get a hold on, things going on around us. So I realized that Tucker Carlson has had probably an epiphany moment with these things that he's been exposing. And he gets on there, and I am telling you, why would you get rid of, if the Murdochs are worth millions and millions of dollars, and this is your brand, and this is your head guy to bring people to your network, particularly your streaming platform, because you're trying to reach younger people, why would you shit can this guy? Why would you shit can this guy? Now, he hasn't made a public statement, but let me get ahead of the game and make this statement, so the 10 people that see this video are going to say, oh, wow, he was right. Because eventually Tucker Carlson is going to end up somewhere. And if he's a smart guy, he's going to do his own thing without being fettered by a corporation. And he can do it. And there's a lot of people doing it, making a lot more money. With a lot less staff and so on and so forth. Now he can do this. There are people who make a lot of money, like Tim Pool and Joe Rogan and so on and so forth, doing their own thing, their own self-marketed thing. He already has an audience that will jump on the bandwagon, and even though if they are older people who don't know how to work technology, they will figure out how to make that work because they just want to listen to him. So you will see The View celebrating, and AOC celebrating, and a few other Marxist, communist sons of bitches celebrating all of this stuff. But if they think that a voice like that goes away and disappears into oblivion, they've lost their mind. I heard some pundit on Newsmax actually say that, Tucker Carlson could be replaced. And then I thought about this. Well, have they ever replaced Rush Limbaugh? No. You can't replace that guy. And they haven't. They still haven't. He's been dead for damn near 2 years now, I believe. There are some people you will never be able to replace. Were you ever able to replace Art Bell from Coast to Coast? Well, George Norrie does a good job, but he ain't Art Bell. You can replace people. That doesn't mean that they're better or they will gain that audience back. And I'll give Tucker Carlson credit where credit's due. He is somebody that people trust. And in case you don't remember, somebody doxed him, and people came to his home, threatened to kill him. Do you see any of that nonsense happening with fools like AOC and Chuck Schumer and all these other radical leftist, communist scumbags? Because that's what these people are. They're Marxist scumbags. They want to subjugate you to a new world global order where you are subjugated to save the world, and to save the world. You have to eat cockroaches, drive electric cars, and you're not allowed to go outside of 15 minutes outside of a large city. And they want to throw you into a cube-sized apartment like the Soviet Union style. That's really their end goal. In case if you think that's nonsense, you really are not paying attention. There is a cabal of people who want to control humanity. And now they have the technology to do it where they couldn't have done this 100 years ago, 50 years ago, 100 years ago, 200 years ago, 2,000 years ago. So, this has always been the end game. It's a spiritual thing. That's something that I want to make a video on this, that this is actually a spiritual thing that you are seeing played out in our lives. If you don't believe that and you're an atheist, or not even that, if you're not well versed in history, and you're not well versed in biblical history, and you're not well versed in church history to some degree, and you don't know your scriptures, and you don't know the end game, so to speak, you're never going to believe it. I'm going to end this with this. The world is a far stranger place than you have been led to believe. That's the first road to understanding truth. Is our world is not quite what you have been led to believe. There are things you don't know about. There are conspiracies that are true. There are beings of a higher dimensional beings that are in play to subjugate humanity, whether you like it or not. This is the truth. And the greatest strength of all of this stuff lies in one thing only: deception. And making you believe that the world is not, and making you believe in a particular narrative that you're taught since you're a child. And the only people that break through of these things are people who have experienced things that aren't supposed to exist, aren't supposed to be real. And that will cause you to have a mental breakdown unless you learn how to reconcile this stuff into a different paradigm, which I've made videos about before. So I'm going to close on that note. I kept it under 15 minutes. I just want people to think. I want people to examine what you see going around and just try to think with a logical mind. Why would a company get rid of the person that is bringing in, that is responsible for making their network worth billions of dollars? Why would you get rid of them? There's only one reason. It's because pressure came from some other place that threatens to take away your billions. And when it comes down to it, Fox might have their jump the shark moment or their Anheuser-Busch moment here. They may have this happen to them, and they may not recover like they ever were before. And maybe it'll end up like CNN, where there's people that are donating money to keep it alive, basically from your leftist backers that hide in the shadows, like the Soros family, who keep these organizations afloat when they don't make any money through ad revenue anymore. It's common sense. It ain't hard to see, and it ain't hard to find out. So anyway, hope this makes sense. Let's see if I pan out right, and we'll find out probably shortly. Till next time.